Who you are?
Hi, I'm Tara Stamps. I'm a proud elementary school teacher, veteran elementary school teacher, and member of the Chicago Teachers Union.
And you've been at the Manchester May Day today. What have you taken from that?
Yes, oh my God. First of all, I want to say thank you to the National Union of Teachers for inviting us. They invited two of the members of the Chicago Teachers Union, myself and Matt Luskin, who's also an organizer. And, you know, we came to tell our story and to shed some light on how we were able to kind of galvanize the rank and file teachers to find their voice, quite honestly. It was really just about owning our fight and owning our profession, and how we were able to do that and end up with 30,000 people in the street demanding, quality education, demand equal funding for public schools. And what I have found, though, is that I've learned so much more than I thought, and so much more than I think I actually gave, right? So I'm telling my story, but what I found out is that my story is your story, and your story is my story, and that we're in a shared struggle, we're in a common fight, and at the end of this is about world domination and rank and file people and laborers and workers really fighting for the soul of our humanity. And I thought, prior to coming to Manchester, that it was really just about fighting for the soul of the United States or the soul of education, but really it's not. It's so much greater than that, because I fear that if we don't get this right, if we don't encourage people to fight from every little nook and cranny of the planet where people are being oppressed and marginalized, if we don't continue to encourage people and speak truth to power, that our planet, our world as we know it, is going to be turned on its head, and it's going to take a whole nother 100 years to turn it right side up again. If we don't get this right, then my concern is that my grandson and my grandson's grandson will be in the midst of this chaos, and that will be the only world they know. This chaotic have and have nots. That we will be trapped into low-wage work. We will be trapped into inferior housing. We will be trapped into economic apartheid and educational apartheid. That we will be trapped in poor housing conditions. That really, the world as we know it will take like a step 200 years ago back, is where they're trying to push us. Because someone once told me, or I read it on a t-shirt or something, if bosses were fair, you wouldn't need unions. And that is more true today than I think it ever has been, because the greed and the avarice is insidious. It really is a beast. It's an insatiable appetite, and it's so demonic. It's almost like biblical proportions of what we're talking about in terms of what people are willing to take from other human beings on this planet. And I'm honored that my voice is respected, and I'm honored to be a part of this fight. I pay homage to my mother, who has gone on to glory, who herself was an amazing activist and civil rights leader in the community and in where I grew up. So I'm sure I attribute a lot of that to her fight, and I just don't know any other way. I don't know any other way. I just don't know any other way but to
Your
fight.
2012 strike was a huge inspiration for us, but what's happening now?
Oh my God, it's like a prize fight, where like the person who thinks they're gonna win get beat up by the underdog. So that's kind of what happened with our 2012 fight. So Rahm Emanuel and his cronies thought they had us by the scruff of our neck, and we came out fighting, and we stood in our corner, and we went back, and we got patted up, and we came out swinging, and we knocked them out, right? So it's like any other prize fighter where they're waiting, they lay up for a few years, and then they come back and they try to regain their title. So that's where we are now. But the reason, I think one of the reasons that we're doing okay is that we've continued to connect the dots. Like, we've continued to collaborate with other organizations and other unions to say, listen, this is a shared fight. This is not just about teachers. This is about teachers, and it's about low-wage work, and it's about housing, it's about health care, it's about pensions, it's about all of these other things. And I think we've done a masterful job of making people who are not necessarily teachers care about what happens, because we're saying, well, listen, if they do that to the teachers, guess who's next? You know what I'm saying? And so right now, we haven't had a contract since our contract expired. We haven't had a contract since June of 2015. We were starting negotiations back in November before that June. So we're in 2016. So we started negotiations in November of 2014. Jesus, for the new contract. Since that time, the lady, Barbara Burr Bennett, who was the CEO of Chicago Public Schools, has since been fired in disgrace for taking a bribe. No surprise there. They've changed the board completely, but it's still a hand-picked board of bankers and private interest groups. But we have made the elected representative school board, which we've been pushing for, because Chicago Public School District is the only district in Illinois that does not have its own publicly elected school board. So now we have that as a referendum. It's passed through the House, and now we're waiting for it to come through the Senate. So we still have some victories, right? So now we called, what we found out now was an illegal strike on April 1st, but hell, it's happened already, and we had 30,000, 40,000 people in the street raising hell, speaking truth to power, and you can't unscramble eggs. So that's done. And now we're waiting to see what's going to happen next. When we took our strike vote back in February, we took it with more than 80+% of the House of Delegates voting for a strike. That strike would be the second week in May, which is somewhere around the 14th or 17th of May, of the strike that would have been legal, right? So what I've heard, these rumblings, is that, you know, CPS is so nervous and they're like prepared to win at all costs, and to the detriment of everyone, although they keep saying they care about kids, but we know that's a damn lie that they don't care about kids. That they're now checking our grade books, and they're saying if teachers go on strike, they're going to just take the last grades in the teacher's grade book, and that's the grade that they're going to assign kids, and they're going to shut the school system down. Now, I think that is the most desperate thing I've ever heard in my life. So stay tuned. Don't know what's going to happen.
Take our solidarity back to Chicago.
Solidarity forever.